attention. May I please have your attention, please?
2022, take it back to '01. Back when yelling "False" was shocking and fun. Back when Musketeers exploded onto the scene. Britney and Justin were in sync, know what I mean? Steven Tyler screamed he didn't want to miss a thing. Back when Carson Daly dominated the screen. Back a couple decades before I felt old. Before Janet Jackson had a whole nipple exposed. Whoa. Hold up, whoa Nelly. Dr. Dre is scheduled to be featured on my telly. This about to be the best, there's nothing you can tell me. A heavy dose of nostalgia, no better way to sell me.
Just then, a panic falls.
I think I need to get my friends Frank and Jan and Cole.
It's Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillo's Dudes. Featuring Frank. And Jen.
This is Theme Park Thursday Live on a Thursday night here, January the 4th. Thanks for checking us out here on the Dillos Diz YouTube channel. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I am Frank. And we are already getting scolded in the chat by Lewis for being 27 seconds late.
I was telling a story, Lewis. It's my fault.
It was a good story. Had a good button to it. Perhaps we will share that over at dillosdizresort.com following this live stream. Here's how it works if you're joining us for the very first time, rather if it's live or if you're checking us out later on the replay. We got 3 topics or subjects that we did not discuss on Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz. Now, we recorded that podcast here on our YouTube channel, so you have the option. You can go and watch the live stream of the recording that for Theme Park Thursday this week, or you can go to your favorite podcatcher and just listen, like on a morning walk, or you're driving to work, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Or if I never did this working in an office. This is not something I would have ever done. Or sometimes if you have 2 monitors, or even if you just have one, and YouTube is minimized somewhere in the background, you can still listen on the audio or the video here on YouTube, because both options are also here, and you can do that and listen in. There's just so many options.
So many options. Obviously, we're trying to have you do both. It really is what it comes down to. We're a podcast centric entity here at Dillo's Diz, but recently we hit the 1,000 subs. We're trying to do a little more focus on the YouTube here in 2024. We want to get the watch hours going a little bit to the place where we need to get monetized. So we're just suggesting you do everything for us. Okay, it's really what it boils down to. Please.
And also, just know you don't have to, and it's okay. No, I'm just kidding. But we basically are just using that for more Disney trips and meetups. So that's what our goals are. So
yeah, I mean, and all remote, all in the overall, we all want to meet everyone more, which is why we're trying to do these things.
Yes,
we just want to hang out more. We want to be social.
Yes.
Jen wants to be social. I'm working on it a lot. Hey, but just a quick reminder, next week, no official Theme Park Thursday Live unless Jen elects to do it solo. But there will be my first Peloton ride live streamed here next Thursday around the 5 o'clock hour. So make sure you check that out.
Do you not want to do a Theme Park Thursday Live after doing a Peloton ride?
I will not be available. It will be in an ice bath. No, but that is what's happening there. Of course, after this live stream, we head on over to dillosdizresort.com. That's our Patreon with resort levels beginning as low as $1 per month. That $1 gets you into our world famous, world renowned 1-channel Discord. So that's what's happening over there. Coming soon, the Lenny and the Smart Guy study hall, where I will be working on a new show for the Sterling Renaissance Festival for a special weekend up there August 10th, but also potentially maybe doing that here in New York City as well. So you kind of get to sit in on me being a crazy person. It's really, I mean, then if that's not worth, more than $1 a month, I don't know what is.
I mean, isn't that always? Isn't that what the people get here? No matter what.
The people want. We want you to be crazy. Well, you might get it tonight. I don't know. It depends how far deep we go with one of these 3 topics. Again, 3 topics or subjects. We didn't talk about them on Theme Park Thursday with Dillos Diz, but probably the shortest of our Rubber Ducks 3. I mean, sure. Topic number 1, the wonders of Percy Jackson. I posted on the Twitter the X Twitter yesterday that after watching the latest Percy Jackson episode on Disney Plus, I love the end credits. I love the end credits of Ahsoka as well. I feel like this is almost like an extension of that. And yesterday I felt like I got a real Epcot vibe from the end credits. So we have the video that we'll have to talk over so we don't get in trouble, and just talk about where my brain led with the Percy Jackson credits. Topic number 1, probably a shortest topic this evening. Topic number 2, announced earlier today, Figment of the Arts Festival of the Arts. They're gonna have another popcorn bucket, but only don't get crazy, people. We got some rules involved. We got some policies in place. Speaking of topic number 3, but a new popcorn bucket will just, again, as we do whenever something like this comes up as it relates to Figment and Journey into Imagination and the whole thing, the Da Vinci Code like key that unlocks Epcot's magic, that pavilion we'll discuss.
Yeah.
And then topic number 3, definitely if you were on the X Twitter most of the day today, there's a Rubber Ducky situation that I was unaware of, that there was actually a Rubber Ducky thing before there was a Rubber Ducky situation. So we'll talk about Rubber Duckies and Disney Cruise Line and Rubber Ducky, you're the one. We'll do all of that with our 3 topics, Rubber Ducky and DCL Fun, Figment of the Arts, the wonders of Percy Jackson. I know what the bets are going to be. I know what the bets are going to be. I'll wait for the bets, but I'll leave this one up for now.
Just because you never know. I was noticing as the intro was playing. I'll just talk randomly here as people place their bets. That same sweatshirt. I'm wearing the same sweatshirt as when I'm on the Skyliner. It's the Pizza Planet sweatshirt, right? And then I'm like, oh, this is looking a little faded. Oh wait, that video's from 4 years ago. So no wonder this sweatshirt is faded.
Oh, January of 2020. You're a funny month.
Oh, we didn't know. We're like, yeah, this is it, guys. This is gonna be the year. We're going big this year.
All right, we realize what is in front of us. The whole world is at our fingertips right here.
Great.
Louis, I don't think I said no voting anymore last time. Forever? I don't think I meant forever.
No, I don't think you said forever, but I think you said that one time, and I was like, oh, don't say that. People are not going to be happy with you if you say you can't vote.
Well, it was a clear 1, 2, 3 last time, I think is why. And there we go. Jeffers pointing out that it did launch Parks and Monorails. Because,
that's true.
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's true.
So here we go. Forever, 1, 2, forever. I could have put them in order tonight if I wanted to, but I wanted to vote. I wanted to see what people said.
It's more fun.
Here we are. Rubber Ducky and DCL Fun. Okay.
I'm just going to sit back because I think Frank has a lot to say. I'll chime in after.
I said on the Twitter X I would choose my words carefully. I didn't do that deep of a dive of the history in the background and what led to all the chit-chat today on the Twitter. Here's what I know. Apparently, guests, not just on Disney Cruise Line, but other cruise lines as well, they will bring Rubber Duckies on board. And they will hide the Rubber Duckies throughout the trip for other people to find them. I guess sometimes they have a note, or I didn't read enough of it. I just know people place Rubber Duckies, other people find Rubber Duckies. Let's just leave it at that. And that's it. I'm pretty sure there's a security check, that they get the x-rays before I'm sure it's pretty clear who's bringing rubber duckies on board. So it led to a question being asked. I think it was Plan Disney. What's the deal with the rubber ducky? What's the deal with rubber duckies? Are we allowed to bring them on or not? Are we allowed to bring them on? I don't want to bring them on. So about the rubber duckies, I heard security was being a little more tight about the rubber duckies. And so when you ask a question that requires a policy answer, you're going to get a policy answer. And nobody wants to hear policy. Nobody wants to hear it. It's not a good answer. Mm-hmm. So immediately, and I'm reluctant to, I don't know what side I'm taking here, but they have no choice but to say what the policy is. Mm-hmm. Like you shouldn't be bringing things on board, no matter what they are. As rubber duckies, as the gateway to other things to hide on board a cruise ship. So they have to say, you can't bring things on board to hide them. And then they have to leave it at that. They can't say, we understand you want to have some fun. They can't say, we know in the past this has happened. They can't say, see no evil, hear no evil. They got to say the policy. And they got to, and you know what? That does make them no fun. No fun, Disney. Disney, who got asked the question and had to answer the question with policy, no fun. So, did anyone ask Royal Caribbean this question yet? Did anyone ask Carnival Cruise Line this question yet? And if you did, great. Let me know. But bottom line is, it only takes, and at first I was like thinking about, what am I going to say? Am I going to talk about, maybe you're making a little more work for cast members who have to look for these things so that people don't complain when they find a rubber ducky somewhere they're not supposed to. Which you can counter with any argument. Well, we're not putting them anywhere that's going to be, I understand it. But at the end of the day, cast members are going to still have to do more of a sweep now because you are hiding a rubber ducky. And I'm not saying what you're doing is right or wrong. Let's just say that outright. Like, I'm not going to take a side of whether or not you should hide a rubber ducky. I'm saying the likely scenario of what happens is cast members are immediately now doing a little more thorough check. Maybe they should be doing more thorough checks. Who's to say? But, again, that is the consequence. So then I was like, oh, but maybe I'll talk about managers who then might be hard on their employees to make sure they're, and like, no, it doesn't mean that not all managers are bad and do this and they micromanage. And like, no, it's not about that. It's about the people who are inevitably going to complain and probably on occasion make it a bigger deal than it needs, a bigger deal than it needs to be, that will then lead to all of these things. And so, yeah, it's not fun that Disney has to give this response and everyone has to jump on board, no pun intended, but they have no choice. They had, because you don't want any other objects coming on board to hide. And people do stuff all the time. They do it all the time. Somebody's going to do something. People are going to try to bury time capsules. People are going to try to have scavenger hunts on Disney property. I was in UCF, and we would have a scavenger hunt every year, and half of the stuff we'd have to go find in Disney. Always. And you think that's happening now? Sure isn't. That was 1998. But they're going to go find this that we hit on Disney property. Of course that happened. This is not a new thing. But you think after 9/11, that whole part of it changed as well. So this, I know people, and it's multiple people over the years that may or may not have a family member on Walt Disney property who have passed away. I will not say how. I mean, they're not burying a body, but does that happen? It does happen.
All the time.
People know that story. It happens all the time. Always.
Yeah.
And so, again, if someone said, "Are we allowed to do such and such?" They're gonna have to say no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Say what the policy is. Again, I think it's funny that they're like, no, you can't do that, or like, no, know what the policy is. The policy is in place, and I just want to say, and I don't know this to be true, but we can't detail every single thing that you can and cannot do before we have to be as general and as vague as possible to hope we encompass as many things as possible. So no, it specifically won't say, I want to bring my arcade game, the old version Pac-Man on board. Am I allowed to do that? It doesn't say that anywhere in your rules. Well, can I bring it? No.
Yeah.
So that's generally what I want to say is, if you're going to try to bring a ducky on board, then try to bring a ducky on board. But know that you might not get the ducky on board. That's really what it comes down to. And know that the cast members probably are sleeping a little bit more now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of it. But I don't want to stop you from having fun either. So if you want to try it. Just don't be mad if it doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Am I good? I didn't anger anyone too much, right?
I come more. You built to it. You built to the anger. And to that, I just had a thought, and it flew out of my head right away. I also think that the social media attention that the duck is getting, that won't cause everyone to be on higher alert regarding rubber ducks at this time. How much attention this is getting? It's like this is only gonna.
It's going to take the one person who stashes their illegal narcotics in a rubber ducky that's not getting checked, that killed somebody on board, and that's it.
Okay,
friends.
all right. Now you're done. Now I'm cutting you off. Now you're done. All right. And we now return to the light of the podcast.
Didn't want to get alarmist.
We all know, but we're not saying that out loud.
Okay.
I'm going to just go over my thoughts.
I got so close. So
close. A few things to your point. These people are applying to be one of the planned Disney people, right? There's a competition to be one of these people, to answer the questions, to speak for the company. They cannot go against the company. I worked in Epcot with a third party, and I stood there on the floor, and things happened in that park, and I knew what happened in that park. And people would come up and say, "Hey, I heard this happened on this attraction the other day. Is that true?" And I would say, I don't even remember what I said exactly, but I definitely didn't say it was true, because regardless of what I knew, because you can't, I have a name tag. I'm not even getting paid by the mouse, but I have a name tag to make you think I am. So I have to make sure I am speaking for the company at that time. And I am not going to be discussing certain things and certain details. You have to represent the company when you're wearing a badge, you're behind a chat, you're on the phone, whatever it is. They have to go by those rules. I will also say it is typically one person that ruins it for everyone. So I am sure someone did something stupid. I don't know what is true and what's not as I'm reading.
It may have happened already. Right. Yeah.
Right. Someone's bringing on hundreds of ducks for a party. Someone's bringing on okay. Well, then you're going to ruin it for everybody. Someone may have brought on 1 or 2 ducks to hide around the ship because their family was going on the same ship 2 weeks later. And now it has grown to allegedly hundreds of ducks. Where's the line? When does that happen? So they got to figure that out too. I also know, when we were going on the Disney cruise, we're traveling with 3 kids. You guys went ahead of us. You were at a different security line. I got stopped at my security line where they took my Cheerio baggies, all these other things, and threw them away, even though you had them too. And my brand new boxes of Cheerios that I got from the Disney resort, they threw them away. And it's like, you also then, you are going to encounter different security people, different check-in people, different people checking your room. It's going to be messy for a while because it is so hard to keep track of so many different rules and policies and all the things. But I don't think they're trying to not be fun here. I mean, maybe a little bit, because also companies at some point, they just take back fun things that they used to allow. Yeah. Disney's also someone that they don't want you bringing in outside much of anything because they
Mhm.
want it all there. They want you doing the things that are on the ship. They want you buying the things that are on the ship. They want all of that. So it's kind of it's a tough place. But to me, I think there's always someone that ruins it for everybody else. And to me, if this isn't that scenario, then I would be surprised. I don't think it's just based off this question. Something had to have happened where this response was given because they didn't
Yeah.
go, oh, sure. So, like, just some rubber duckies for your kids in the tub? Yeah, you can bring those. I mean,
Yeah.
something had to have happened.
If the gift shop start, if we're hopefully maybe on a cruise sometime in the future, and we're in the gift shop and we see a bunch of rubber duckies for sale, maybe we'll question a few things.
Right.
But
Right.
no, oh, you can buy them here and hide them yourself. Like then we'll go crazy. Go
Mhm.
crazy then.
Mhm.
I think we need to think about. Sometimes you got the big picture, all the scenarios. Think about all
Yeah.
it's very difficult to. Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if it just someone asked the question, and maybe you shouldn't ask that question
Right.
because you're not gonna write the response. You hear about security doing it, I get why you ask, but in theory, I don't know if I would ask if something of a harmless nature.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't know if I would ask that question. I mean,
Yeah, right?
am I
Like, if
allowed?
you don't see it in writing, maybe
Yeah,
I would just, try it and say sorry later. What is that like? Just do
yeah,
it and then
yeah. Forgiveness,
apologize or
ask for
whatever?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's what I was
Becau
thinking too.
yeah. But, I did see Ryan say, I think it's timing more than anything. DCL has had some less than positive policy changes lately, which I was seeing as
Yeah,
well, that, like, "What is this? What are they doing lately?" And it's just sort of like the icing on the cake, it seemed like. So I'm sure there's also way more behind all of this than we're even realizing.
yeah, and I think just in general, and I hate to keep going back to this, but I think uh it was a very flexible thing these last couple of years
Mhm.
that you don't want to say no when you're finally coming back to something and then, and have it be tainted that, oh,
Mhm.
now I'm never going to do it again. But now they realize maybe it got a little further away than we wanted and they got to start buttoning things up. I don't think it just pertains to Disney. I saw John earlier talk about Universal starting to button some
Yeah.
things up. I mean, I think it's just, you know, everyone wanted to be a little more welcoming. I think there was
Mhm.
the boundary was pushed back a little bit in places, and now again, if it was one person to ruin it or
Mhm.
just multiple things that ruined
Yep.
it for everybody, here we are.
Yeah. Yep.
So we have 7 minutes left for the other two topics.
Sure.
We're fine,
That's
right?
plenty of
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Figment of the Arts, the popcorn bucket announcement today, because of course popcorn buckets, why not, right? So share the screen with Scott Gustin here on Twitter. So do you see it?
I see it.
Okay, so we got the little rainbow and Figment
Mhm.
sliding down the rainbow. The
Mhm.
popcorn is rainbow, and then I mean, come on, I think I would want this more than the previous
Yeah.
popcorn bucket.
Yeah, I would agree with that, that this is more enticing. Now, if only you could actually set up running water in front
Oh.
of it for
Hmm.
the essential fountains. I
Hmm.
mean, that would be amazing. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
I mean, I think you have run a little water line, and there you
Jeffers, imagining that sitting on my lap on the plane as my personal item. We can't do that
don't
on the Blue Basic.
yeah, you can't do it on a Blue Basic, and don't think about hiding it on the Disney Cruise Line.
No,
Okay, so
this would not be
right.
permitted.
Imagine bringing this. You're doing a day at Epcot to get this, and on Saturday you're going on the Disney Cruise, and you're like, "Hi, I have this."
Yeah. They'd
Thank
be
you
like,
very
"It's
much."
empty, right? Because you can't have Cheerios in there."
But again, as we circle back, there's a demand for things that are connected to this pavilion
Yes.
and to this character.
Yes.
What has to be done in order to take the next steps to enhancing that area? Is it the walls are down now so we can focus on this area? Make that move, Disney. Make the move.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
frustrating.
But is it wrong that I always have hope when they start doing things with Figment meet and greet. Here's a popcorn bucket. Here's another popcorn bucket. It gives me hope. Like, so are you not getting rid of him? Can you keep
Jeffers,
him
would the
forever?
fountain buckets be able to shoot a popcorn from one to the other and jump and little spring the popcorn through?
You have to then collect buckets in order to have them.
Oh, and then have the jumping buckets.
Yeah.
Don't steal this idea, Disney. You contact Dillos Diz. We are on it.
We're coming.
Multiple buckets. You gotta collect them all.
Mm-hmm.
They all have different old school emblems on them along the way.
Yes. Oh, it's good.
Let's go.
Good stuff.
A Maelstrom bucket. Ryan is suggesting.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad either.
We have 4.5 minutes.
Oh, 4.5 minutes. We're totally fine here. It's a good way to wrap up before we head over to DillosDizResort.com. The Wonders of Percy Jackson. So, Jen, you have not been watching the new Percy Jackson and the Olympians series. The 7-year-old, she's been all in for a while. She's read 2.5 of the series. She just read the latest book in 2 days over the Christmas break. She's seen both of the movies. There was nothing after the second movie, even though there's 5. Well, now there's 6 books in that first series. It stopped after the second one. So now they have this series, which, typical, I feel like at this point, is I don't know how well it's doing. Nobody's talking about it. I don't know who's into it. I know a lot of people who are into this series. Now, I also know that there was way more people into the series 10 years ago. The musical, they did the movies, they tried it, I think the movies were both 20th Century Fox maybe, and maybe that's why that whole fell apart was the sale of the studio. So, the Lightning Thief is the first book, but I feel like they missed the light, they didn't capture the lightning in the bottle. And so now with the series, it seems to be going well, but it seems to be also going like a majority of these Disney Plus series, which don't get the push, don't feel the buzz, don't have the machine behind it, as we like to say. But then last night I was watching it because they like to do the clips for the next episode after the main credits, and so we watch the credits every week. And as I was watching it, I was like, you know what? This is very Epcot vibes to me. And so I'm going to play it and we're going to talk over it a little bit. Oh, wait, I don't have the sound. Ooh, hey, ooh, you don't hear anything, right?
Yeah, no, we heard a little bit.
You heard a little bit? You did it?
Yep.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, it's there. What do you know?
Do you think you need to watch the movies in order to watch the series?
No, it's the series is the first movie. So this first season is the first movie. So they're recreate like almost what they've been talking about with Harry Potter for HBO Max. They want to kind of do it in episodes for a season for each book. This is kind of what that is, that these first 8 episodes are the first book.
Okay.
So you don't need to watch the first movie. So I'm going to play this. Can we hear it enough?
Yes.
No?
Yeah.
Did you say? Okay.
Yeah.
So, the music, some people have said the theme is a little bit like the Avengers, Marvel, and, kind of has that vibe. But I love the murals, right? And following kind of in the Mandalorian artwork, like the old school Star Wars artwork. And then the Ahsoka end credits kind of had the star map, which was really cool. This is the end credits, no spoilers if you didn't read the book or see the first movie, is basically telling you what's going to happen. And but really what it got me thinking was, boy, I would really love to see next to Guardians of the Galaxy kind of like a Greek myth Wonders of Life building that's themed to Percy Jackson. But I already think that Percy Jackson didn't hit enough now to warrant that. I feel like I don't feel the hype, I don't feel the buzz or anything like that for Disney to want to kind of follow through on that. So, which is unfortunate because I think that building in particular would be really cool for that building to it would kind of flow with space. You have the Greek constellations, the constellations named for Greek heroes. You have Guardians of the Galaxy. It all could kind of go together. And it kind of bummed me out in a way of like, well, here's another idea for Wonders of Life that probably won't come through. I mean, it's a good IP. I wish they would use.
Yeah,
I
I
know it's
mean,
going to sound crazy. Yeah.
I would say that you never say never, only because just because it's not everywhere or you're not hearing enough about it, maybe that doesn't mean anything. Because who can understand anything anymore of why things go the way they do? I think, Zootopia Land looks amazing.
Right.
And I'm not saying people don't love that movie, but that movie does not get any hype to it. I don't think, unless I'm totally out of a loop somewhere.
Right.
But, I
Yeah,
hear
if you're
people
going to
like,
compare it to Frozen, if you put it against Frozen,
Right.
like what Frozen's hype was,
yes,
Zootopia doesn't feel the same. Even
Right.
Moana hype was
Right.
not the same as Zootopia hype.
yeah. So I just feel like you never know. And what people say in social media, what seems to be getting a lot of conversations doesn't usually match up with like what the ratings say or what, so like, who knows what anyone is thinking. But I did, because I haven't been watching the series, but I did go before this and watch the end credits. And yeah, it totally gave me like, the artwork you would see in Spaceship Earth, in Horizons even, and just those vibes that
that Art Deco look.
Yeah, that would totally work in Epcot.
Yeah, so again, kind of connecting to topic number 2 with the imagination. It's like there's so many places you can go with both of those pavilions that I feel like, and I don't know if it would take that much to get there. I think, it's not, you're not ripping out the entire center of the park here. So I think that's what's frustrating is you can see where ideas would come. And I don't know if it's a money thing. I don't know if it's a fear thing or what if it fizzles in a year. I think they said that about Moana for 100 years. This is just for now. And then it just kept being popular. And then it kept being on Disney Plus's top 10. Now, like I said, Moana's popular. Yeah. So that's how I feel about this. And yeah, I'm enjoying the series. I don't know if I'm getting older or I am getting older, but with this, and I do this with the Star Wars series a lot too, where some scenes look fantastic, and then the next scene I'm like, well, you made sure you did as low scale as possible, and you're just going around in a circle right now. So and so I feel, and with Percy Jackson, I don't know what's green screen wise, and where Mandalorian, you kind of know that they're building these green screen, rooms, create these scenes. But with Percy Jackson, I'm not sure what the behind the scenes of it is, the production wise. So Lewis says if the series is pulled in a month, we will know it didn't do well.
True.
Percy Jackson and the Figment Popcorn Bucket, not as exciting as Rubber Duckies on Disney Cruise Line tonight, but we will be heading now over to DillosDizResort.com. That, of course, is our Patreon, with memberships beginning as low as $1 per month. Of course, coming soon, it's the Lenny and the Smart Guy Study Hall. Watch me try to create a show, and feel free to always bounce ideas off of me as I talk to myself for a long period of time. Thanks for checking us out here tonight at 9:03 p.m. We will wrap things up and head to the resort. Until next time, she's Jen. I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
Deuces.